Nobody promotes the hardest worker in the room, and the data proves it. You stay late, you fix other people's mistakes, you say yes when everyone else says no, and somehow at the end of the year, the person who does half of what you do gets the raise. That is not a coincidence. That is a system working exactly as it was designed to work. And today, we are going to break it down completely. Research consistently shows that highly engaged, high-performing employees are significantly more likely to be overlooked for promotions compared to their more vocal, less productive peers. Let that sink in. The harder you work, the more invisible you become. Hi, I am Alex, and welcome to The Rewired Wallet. I am going to show you the psychology behind why the best workers get paid the least and what you can do about it starting this week. But before we get to the solution, I need you to understand something most career coaches will never tell you. The problem is not your work ethic. The problem is your brain. When you were growing up, you were rewarded for doing things right. Good grades, gold stars, praise from teachers and parents. Your brain learned a very specific equation. Effort equals reward. Work hard, get recognized, do more, receive more. That equation made perfect sense in school. But the corporate world does not run on that equation. And nobody told you that when you walked through those office doors for the first time. In school, the rules are transparent. You study, you pass. In the workplace, the rules are invisible. And the people who win are not the ones who work the hardest. They are the ones who understand how the game is actually played. This is what psychologists call the visibility paradox. The more time you spend doing the work, the less time you have to be seen doing the work. And in a corporate environment, perception is not just important. Perception is the currency. Think about the last time someone got promoted in your company. Was it the person who quietly delivered results for 3 years? Or was it the person who presented those results in every meeting, took credit loudly, and made sure the right people knew their name? I am not saying that person did not work hard. I am saying they understood something you were never taught. There is a psychological pattern called the good employee trap. It works like this. You are reliable, so people rely on you more. You are competent, so you get the hardest tasks. You never complain, so nobody thinks you are unhappy. You always deliver, so nobody thinks you need anything. You have accidentally trained everyone around you to take you for granted. And here's the cruelest part of this trap. Most people never see it coming because it does not feel like a trap. It feels like being good at your job. But your competence becomes the ceiling that keeps you exactly where you are. Dr. Adam Grant, organizational psychologist at Wharton, calls this the giver's dilemma. Givers consistently rank at the bottom of the corporate ladder, not because they are less talented, but because they have made themselves too easy to exploit. And the worst part, the more you give, the more you feel like you cannot stop, because stopping feels like letting people down, and letting people down feels like failure. This is not a character flaw. This is a psychological loop, and it has a name: approval conditioning. Now, before I explain what approval conditioning is, I want to be clear about something. This is not therapy. This is strategy. Understanding where this pattern comes from is the fastest way to break it. Approval conditioning is the pattern where your sense of self-worth becomes tied to how useful you are to others. It starts in childhood. Maybe you had a parent who only praised you when you achieved something. Maybe you learned that love was conditional on performance. So you became the kid who always tried harder, the student who always stayed later, the employee who always said yes. And every time you helped someone, your brain released a small hit of dopamine. That felt good. So you did it again and again until helping others became the only way you knew how to feel valuable. But here's the brutal truth about approval conditioning in the workplace. The people who benefit from your helpfulness have no incentive to change the dynamic. Why would they? You are doing their work for them. You are solving their problems. You are making their lives easier. And you are doing it for free. This is not about becoming selfish. This is about understanding the difference between being a valuable team member and being an unpaid resource, because there is a line and most high performers cross it without even realizing it. Let me give you a real scenario. Sarah is a project manager at a mid-sized tech company. She is the first one in and the last one to leave. She covers for her teammates when they miss deadlines. She takes on extra projects because she knows she can handle them. Her manager loves her. Her colleagues love her. And for 3 years in a row, she has been passed over for a senior role. The person who got the role instead, a colleague who worked fewer hours, delegated aggressively, and spent every Friday afternoon having coffee with the VP. Sarah was not less talented. Sarah was less strategic. Hard work is necessary, but hard work alone is not sufficient. The corporate world rewards visibility, negotiation, and strategic positioning, not just output. And this is where I need you to stay with me, because what comes next is the piece that most people never connect. There is a concept in behavioral psychology called learned helplessness, first identified by psychologist Martin Seligman in the 1960s. When people experience repeated situations where their effort does not lead to the expected reward, they eventually stop trying to change the situation. They adapt to the unfairness. They normalize it. In the workplace, this looks like this. You asked for a raise once and got a vague answer. You applied for a promotion and were told to wait. You raised a concern and nothing changed. So you stopped asking. You stopped applying. You stopped raising concerns. And you told yourself, this is just how it works here. But that is not how it works everywhere. That is how it works in environments where you have been conditioned to accept less than you deserve. And here's the part that will rewire how you see this entire situation. The system is not broken. The system is working perfectly. It is just not working for you. Companies benefit enormously from high performers who do not advocate for themselves. If you produce the output of 2 people and only ask for the salary of 1, that is an incredible deal for your employer. And as long as you keep delivering without demanding more, there is zero financial incentive for them to offer it. This is not cynicism. This is economics. And once you understand it as economics, you can start to play the game differently. So let me give you the framework. I call it the strategic visibility protocol. 4 steps you can start applying this week. Step 1, audit your invisible contributions. Take 20 minutes and write down everything you do that nobody sees. The emails you answer at 10 p.m., the problems you solve before they become crises, the knowledge you share freely in meetings. Now ask yourself, who knows about this? If the answer is nobody above your direct manager, you have a visibility problem. Step 2, create a results document. This is a private document where you track your wins in real time, not your tasks, your results, not I managed the project, but Nanya, I managed the project that delivered 23% under budget and 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Numbers, impact, specificity. This document becomes your negotiation weapon. Step 3, practice strategic visibility. This does not mean bragging. It means making sure the right people know about your results at the right time. And send a brief update to your manager after a win, not to show off, to create a paper trail of your value. Speak up in meetings to connect your work to the company's goals. Position yourself as someone who thinks about the business, not just their task list. Step 4, renegotiate your availability. Start saying no to low-value requests, not rudely, strategically. I would love to help with that. Right now, I am focused on X, which is a priority for the team. Can we revisit this next week? Every time you say no to something small, you are saying yes to your own strategic priorities, and you are signaling to the people around you that your time has value. Now, I want to address the fear that just came up for most of you, but if I stop being so helpful, people will think I am difficult. If I start talking about my results, people will think I am arrogant. If I say no, people will stop liking me. I hear you, and I want you to sit with this question. How has being endlessly helpful, invisible, and available worked out for you so far? The people who are respected in organizations are not the ones who do the most. They are the ones who are clear about what they do, why it matters, and what they need in return. That is not arrogance. That is professional self-respect. Your brain has been running the same program for years. Effort equals reward. Helpfulness equals value. Visibility equals arrogance. Those are not facts. Those are beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. Every time you advocate for yourself and nothing bad happens, your brain updates its model. Every time you say no and the world does not end, your brain learns that boundaries are safe. Every time you share a win and receive recognition, your brain starts to associate visibility with reward instead of danger. This is not a quick fix. This is a rewiring process. And it starts with one small action this week. Write down 3 results you have delivered in the last 30 days that nobody above your manager knows about. Just 3. That is your starting point. The good employee trap is real, but it is not permanent. You were not born to be the hardest worker in the room who gets paid the least. You were conditioned to accept that role, and conditioning can be undone. The moment you start playing by the real rules, everything changes. Not because you became a different person, but because you finally stopped hiding the person you already are. This is what the Rewired Wallet is about. Not just money, the mind behind the money. Subscribe to the Rewired Wallet for more.